goodness. Comfort. So this week, well, actually, for the past, let's see, I think it's been about 2 weeks now, on and off about 2 weeks. My family and I, we're trying to do this whole keto thing, this keto diet, and and I've cheated a little bit here and there, but for the most part, I've been doing pretty good. I knew about keto like for, I don't know, several years now, and anyways, I got busy and just kind of fell off the bandwagon, So anyways, I'm back on the bandwagon, and I've only been, I'd say probably, a week and a half, 2 weeks, give or take, and I've had some snacks that are definitely not keto friendly, which kind of sabotaged all the efforts prior to those snacks. But anyways, even with all of that, I went and weighed myself, and I'm going off of my starting weight from my last physical that I had, because I felt like the doctor's scale was probably way more accurate than the little crappy scales that we have at home, the little digital ones that I've never been fat really, but like they give me multiple different readings, and it's just like, which one is it? So I have to weigh, all of us have to weigh ourselves like 5 or 6 times, and whichever number pops up the most, that's the one we're going with. So anyways, I'm not exactly sure how much weight I've officially lost, but according to the last time I got on the scale, and I haven't weighed myself this week, so I'll do that after this video's over. But anyway, you guys will probably get an update in the following weeks, or the following vlogs video. But anyways, but the last time I weighed, I was like down 3 pounds, and I was just like, oh, thank you, yes, something's working. Nope, you turn. Okay. So anyways, the reason I think it's probably accurate is because my work pants are not nearly as tight, like around my waist, as they used to be. So something's working. Basically, if you're not familiar with the keto diet, basically it's you're limiting how many carbs you have for the day. And I told Mom, I said, keto kind of stands for count everything once. Can't eat this occasionally. If you spell the word can't incorrectly, but that's essentially what keto is you're watching and limiting the amount of carbs you have. You can have all the meat that you want, you can have all the dairy, with the exception of like milk, that you want, and you have to be careful with yogurt. But like all the cheeses and stuff, sour cream, I mean, you're good. If there's any carbs in those dairy products, it's like very, very low. But I've been, you stupid little, I'm so sick of, I'm about to get double-sided tape. I've taken some bungee straps, or a bungee strap, and I've secured my crock pot so that when I'm going down the road, like this particular place, they have an excessive amount of attempts of landing on the moon. And anyways, the double-sided hooks, the double-sided little picture hook things, or I guess they're for pictures, whatever. The tape's just not strong enough. It's just not strong. So, but I have a remedy. I have become a fan of some for real. This is put out by Gorilla. Okay, by the way, double-sided tape. It is an absolute act of Congress to get the little plastic side peeled off so that you can stick. Yeah, you get the picture. But anyways, yeah, I just was like, I've got to go fix that, because it's gonna work beautifully. And I tried to situate the second hook. I've got to tape the bungee strap actually to one hook, so that, because I've got it hooked underneath my table, and the second one I've got taped to the front of my fridge. So I've got that situated. So far it seems to be working decent. Happy about that. But anyways, back to the keto. The crock pot, and too, I'll say this too, if you're going to do the keto diet, it's basically also a diet where you have to make time to cook or meal prep. Like, it's a requirement. Because I went into the truck stop here the other day looking for stuff that wouldn't make me go over the amount of grams of carbs I could have for the day. Like, for me, I started out with about 65 to 70 grams of carbs. Now, that doesn't sound like it's a lot, but when you increase your protein and you're not really necessarily watching your calories, it's plenty for me. And actually, I could probably lower that down, but I was just kind of starting there because that's where the rest of my family, it seemed to be like a happy medium for everybody. So we just kind of started there. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I miss Taco Bell, okay? I miss the French fries at all the freaking fast food restaurants, okay? And that stuff, I don't know what they have in their cooking grease or the stuff they may spray on the potatoes to make the French fries. It tastes so good. I mean, it really does, okay? I now know why America's fat, okay? Because my mom, she was telling me that 5 chicken strips at a Hardee's had like 60 some odd grams of carbs. We haven't even gotten to the French fries and the drink choice, okay? You can't eat one meal at a burger joint anywhere in America and not come up hungry later in a few hours. If you're a working class person, it's just not gonna happen. If there's a few people who can do it, you are a rarity. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyways, also too with the keto diet, you're basically cutting out all pasta, rice, and bread. I met a guy one time. He was doing the keto diet. He had a serious weight problem, and his family, I can't remember if they were doing the keto diet or they hadn't jumped on the bandwagon yet or whatever, but for whatever reason he was doing the keto diet because I think he had diabetes, high blood pressure, inflammation at yin yang. Like, it was kind of like, it reminded me a little bit of what a lot of truckers who've been doing this for decades, that they have these problems, you know. It just kind of comes with the job sometimes. Anyways, and it's so important to take measures to try to, like, not get to that point, you know. But anyways, he did the keto diet, and so when he goes out to the burger joints and stuff, he orders a regular burger. I think his was like a double cheeseburger or something, and he just simply takes the bun off and just eats the meat and the cheese and the onions and whatever else might be on it, you know. And that's that, you know. And he doesn't eat the French fries, and I think he probably gets like unsweet tea because apparently sweet tea has like, I forget now how many carbs. I want to say it's like somewhere between 5 and 10 carbs. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, unsweet tea has like 1 gram of carbs. So if you're trying to munch all day, those carbs add up, you know. So that's where you gotta, if you keep your protein up, then you should be good to go. Because it's like I was talking with my boyfriend, I was like, you know, a lot of people, they think that when they go on a diet that they have to be miserable, they've got to count calories and all this kind of, and I remember growing up and listening to people talk about that, you know, like, oh, you need to cut back on your sugars, or oh, you need to cut back on your calories, and oh, all these freaking tips and tricks that was just insane. You know, like, because when you, like, for me out here trucking, you don't have time to like measure and count your calories and all this calories. Like, you just grab and go, okay? Just go. All right. And so anyways, it's really, so what I'm getting back to is I went to Taco Bell. This was at the beginning of when I started this diet, and I ordered 1 Supreme burrito, the big nice freaking Supreme burrito. It tasted so good. But anyways, it had like 57 or 58 grams of carbs. We ain't even got to the drink yet, okay? And I was like, son of a biscuit, you know? And see, I had already eaten earlier at that point of the day, and so that, I think that was like my second meal or something, you know? It's insane. And it's like I was telling my family, I said, yeah, I said when I was younger, granted I was still, you know, growing and everything, but I was always moving, and I drank a lot of sweet tea. Like, I mean, it had gotten so bad, we were making like two pitchers of sweet tea a day. And we were debating on a third one at some points. And some days, there were rare occasions, we did make a third one, like if we had guests and stuff over. It's a wonder we didn't croak. But anyways, so now when we have tea at home, it's a treat. We make it now with stevia, and that has a lot fewer calories, and it's supposed to have, if I remember right, I think it has like very, very little carbs. So, but as you can probably have, you know, see now, it's over the course of a day, you can get 60 to 70 grams of carbs in a day pretty quick. I don't know about you, but I know going to the truck stop and ordering a cheeseburger, some fries, and a drink, you have, just in that one meal, you probably have already hit at least 1,500, if not 2,000 calories for the day. And if you're trying to do, like, you know, count your calories and stuff, which I'm not worried about counting calories, because if you're not hungry, then you're not consuming as many calories. So therefore, you should at some point start losing some weight. But anyways, but back to the guy that I was telling you about earlier. He did the keto, and his weight started getting a lot better. He came off of his diabetic medication. He had a lot less inflammation, and I forget now. I think there was some other medicine he was on too. He's completely, like, when we were talking to him at that time, he had a lot less medications that he was taking, and he didn't go into the other medications and stuff, but I remember specifically the diabetic medication and the high blood pressure medication. I was like, dude, congratulations, you know. I don't know why my nose is itchy, but anyways, but everybody in my family has lost a little bit of weight. Now granted, some of it is water weight, which, whatever, we'll take it, you know, it's something. But I know for me, like I said, my clothes are not as tight, and I don't feel like I have as much swelling. I don't know if some of you might be new here. I was having issues with my ankle swelling, and you wouldn't think so, because I'm not fat, but I think it has to do with the fact that I sit and drive so many hours a day, just like a lot of truckers do. And I think it's a circulation issue, and I'm just, my job is kind of sort of slowly killing me, but whatever. And so I've been taking measures like getting a treadmill here for the truck. I've been trying to eat and diet better, and I've been trying to not sabotage my diet when I go home, and do, just live life at home. So anyways, but basically cutting out the bread, cutting out the rice, and cutting out the pasta. Did you know that like a cup of just organic rice, and even the non-organic rice, just a cup has got like 37 grams, I think it is. I don't know about you, but I usually eat twice a day, unless I've slept in and I had a big supper the night before. I could probably get away with one meal a day. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot. And that doesn't leave me much room, because no one measures out a cup of rice and says, here you go. At least not in America, But the vegetables, for the most part, you're pretty safe. A lot of them have low carbs. And some of them, they have low carbs measured out. I think Brussels sprouts is one. And let's see, Brussels sprouts, squash, squash. I absolutely freaking love squash. It's so good. That stuff, you should kind of measure it out, because you can add up your carbs pretty quick. And then your fruits and stuff usually have low carbs, but the catch with the fruits is it's a smaller serving size, so you kind of have to look at the bags or fruit or whatever, and just, or well, actually too, if it's not on the bag, we live in a time where there's a lot of information on the internet, so you can just look it up on the internet. How much is a cup of strawberries? I know strawberries of the berry plants is like the highest. Blackberries is like the lowest, and then the second highest is like blueberries or something. So, oh dear. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm not really sure where I last left off, but anyways, basically too, another thing when you're doing this whole keto diet is to try to do the majority of your carbs that you're going to have for the day early in the day. That way your body has time to burn those carbs off later, or throughout the day. And as far as like snacking and stuff, I've been eating the little deli size slices of pepperoni. It's good in protein. I think it's like 7 grams per 3 slices or something, so that's a good snack to have, like where you're driving down the road. Be careful of the bananas. The bananas, for some reason, is high in carbs. You can have the bananas, and depending on if you get the organic ones or the non-organic ones, the carbs kind of vary. But just look at it, and you'll have to just look it up online to see which ones have how many carbs versus the others, because the bananas, they don't print the nutrition label on there. There's nowhere to print one. But anyways, so yeah, be mindful of that. And then the berries, are good, but the blueberries and the strawberries are like really high in carbs. So if you want, you can measure that out. That way you can kind of get a precise how many carbs you've got for the day. As far as like your peanuts, walnuts, pecans, and cashews, pistachios, and all that, I think the pecans is like the least amount of carbs, but all of that's based on, I think, like a cup at a time. So if you want, you can get like the little Ziploc bags, and throughout the week just kind of like measure out a cup. You may have to buy yourself a measuring cup, and just keep it with you in the truck. I haven't personally done that yet, because I've been eating all of my fruits and vegetables and like snacks going down the road. I've been eating the pepperonis, and what else? Oh yes, as far as like the vegetables, the one that you should stay away from the most would be like potatoes. Doesn't matter if it's white potatoes, red potatoes, yellow potatoes. Potatoes in general are just bad. That means potato chips, French fries, I can't think of any other potato products right this second, but just potatoes in general. Stay away from those. For whatever reason, that is the worst vegetable, as far as like carbs. So if you're someone who's, maybe you've struggled with your weight, or maybe you just mentally have given up on the idea of like, you know what, I'm fat, I'm just going to be happy about it, and I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, If you cut the potatoes out, and you cut out the bread, and you cut out the pasta and the rice, and even if you just want, for starters, just give up potatoes, period, and everything in your diet, regardless of what you're, that will go a long ways. And then, maybe don't jump all the way into the keto diet, because it is difficult. I got a trucker backing down this dirt road. Oh my goodness, buddy. Anyways, it is difficult, but it's not impossible. And if you know anything about the Bible, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I don't remember which scripture which book of the Bible that comes out of, but it's in there, okay? You can do keto as a truck driver, and even if you're over the road, or if you're driving local. Now, over the road would be a little bit more difficult, but it's still not impossible, because if you trip plan, I know when I was over the road, I would plan, or because like some places, I kind of knew, okay, in that area I was able to go to like a Walmart, or you know, at that area over there, I think that was the same town, they had a huge like Lowe's parking lot or Home Depot, and there was a grocery store like right across the street or something, you know. And the grocery stores are like, you have to be careful with them, because a lot of them you can't just pull up and park and go shop, because they have so much landscaping, and it's just like, yeah. And if it isn't a landscaping, then there's so many cars, and it's just like not enough room to turn, like you know. So that's why Walmart has been nominated in my book as like the #1 place to go to, especially like on the East Coast. And even some of those locations you have to be careful, because there's just no freaking room, you know. You have to pull around and go back where the other truck or the Walmart trucks go to the dock and stuff, and it's just like, I just need to get some groceries and I'm gonna be out of here, you know. So as far as like the yogurts and stuff, there, I'll try to insert a picture of the yogurt I'm talking about, but it's called Ration, and they're in little cup size, and they're I think it's, well, if you count the carbs plus the sugars, I don't know why, but they separate the sugars from the carbs, and then when they factor in the fiber, they're claiming that for 1 gram of sugar, if you got a gram of fiber, that the fiber somehow cancels out the sugar, so you have less carbs. To me, that makes absolutely no sense, because you're calling one thing X and another thing Y, and you're telling me they're the same. How is that possible? You know, not a nutrition expert, but that's what I figured out so far. So anyways, this truck driver here got impatient, and he's a little irritated about the fact that he's having to wait so long. Can't say I blame him, because it is a long wait time sometimes here at this place, and I completely get your frustration, buddy. But anyways, that's a whole nother, we're not gonna get into that. And he's oh my goodness, he's struggling. But anyways, so yeah, but anyway, so what I do is I like to order my groceries online. And then a lot of times I'll go to the store and actually pick up the groceries, because I'm just one of those weird people that has that luxury of being able to wander around the grocery store and just kind of like, you know, what you know what, I feel like making this stuff this week, you know. Or and then sometimes, like, I know I'll never forget this. I was out in Oklahoma somewhere, and it was the first time I think I ever bought the Angus beef patties. And or not Angus, I'm sorry, oh gosh, I think I looked at it, I thought, oh, I said, they got freaking buffalo meat in here. I said, shoot, this is freaking great, you know. And it wasn't. But anyways, that was, I have no idea, I can't for the life of me remember what that grocery store's name is, but they had like a little flower shop in there, and then they had like a little deli section, and then their whole deli section just looked completely, it was laid out a little differently. And then it was funny, because it was right next to a Lowe's parking lot too, and they had all kinds of jams and pickles, and I was like, in some of the jams, like I know it was like green pepper jelly, then they had apricot jelly, then they had, fig jelly. They had, it was a little bit more than I had seen before in other grocery stores. And anyways, so but I that was one thing I really kind of liked when I was OTR, is I would go to, if I could, if there was room and I had time, I would stop and I would go, and it was cool to see how the different grocery stores had things laid out, and then like just weird, you know, stuff that like I've never seen that before. Wonder what that's like, you know. And anyways, I'll never forget. I went up in the New England area. I can't remember if it was New York or where, but I was somewhere north, and I was looking for grits, which, by the way, is loaded with carbs. You should, like, if you're gonna eat grits, you need to measure it, because it's like it's a lot of carbs. But anyways, whatever. It's so good with melted butter and a little bit of salt, and sometimes a little bit. And I'm talking about like the pink salt, and a little bit of black pepper. Golden. So, anyways, well, he's he's getting there. So anyway, and I asked one of the locals. I was like, "Hey," I said, because I had done walked around the store at this time. I think this was a Walmart, and I was just like, "Yeah." I said, "Do you have any idea where, like?" And I forgot myself. I said, "Do you have any idea where the grits would be at?" And the lady looked at me, and you'd have thought I spoke Chinese or Greek to her. And she's like, "Well, what is it called again?" I said, "Grits." And then about halfway through, me trying to explain, I realized, oh, okay. Don't hit my truck, buddy. Don't hit my truck, buddy. You got a little bit of room, but don't. What are you doing? This fella can't back. Gotta back straight, buddy. Yes, back straight. You got plenty of room over here to the left. you got plenty of room, buddy. Oh my goodness. Why are you? Retarded. This is so stupid. What you were doing. Yeah, obviously. I'll have to help you out, retard. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't have pulled up, buddy. Come on. Get out of the way, you're holding up traffic. Come on, back up. Yes, come on, back up. Technically, you should get behind the line, but, it won't be nice. Dummy. He told me earlier they were going to come out and come get him, and then if they didn't do that, to wait for the next box truck to come out, and he didn't. He's being impatient. And he still can't back straight. Now he's gonna hold up this other box truck. You're killing me, buddy. You're killing me. There you go. Now you got it. Come on, back up. Hold up this other dude. What it is they ain't got enough room for us truckers to sit up there and be parked there by the dock. I gotta get him a little bit more room. Oh my goodness. Anybody else would have been like, no, you gotta get behind the line. There you go. Set your brakes. I ain't backing up no more. That's as far as my niceness is gonna go today, sir. But anyways, but yeah, Uh, where was I? She had no idea what grits was. She said that then I said, and somehow we ended up talking about hominy, and I don't know what they do to hominy, but hominy is not the same as grits. I mean, it's on the road, but it's just not there. But anyways, it's just one of southern foods. And there is an art to how you cook it too, because I have had some people cook it, and it shouldn't be gritty. You know, it should be, just, I don't know how to describe this, but anyways, I love grits, but doing keto, you can't indulge in grits. So, anyways, but yeah, when you do the keto though, try to get as many of the carbs as you possibly can early in the day, and then fewer carbs in the afternoon. And the reason for that is the way your body processes and burns all the nutrients. Essentially, you have sugars, then you have carbs, and then you have proteins, and then you have fat. Fat is at the very end. So essentially your body, oh shit, they're cutting down trees. Oh shoot, how I didn't even know y'all were there. There's like a whole tree coming down. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this. There's literal trees coming down. The yellow logging equipment blended in. I didn't see them. I didn't know y'all were there. Be aware of your surroundings, Christy. Note taken. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. So yeah, your body's burned sugars, carbs, protein, and then fat. Fat's at the very end. So if you limit your carbs, then your body burns up all the sugars, or most of it, and then it jumps over to your burning up protein. And when you get through your protein, then you should have a little gap in there where you're like, oh, I'm starving. That's when you start to burn fat. And the goal is when you limit your carbs, that's one less thing that your body has to work through on breaking down and processing, because holy smokes, that's another big tree. That's a big boy. Good night. As long as we don't hit the power lines on the very last little row of trees here, we good. Because if y'all start sparking, I am leaving. Because there's a lot of power lines in front of me and on the side. I ain't staying for the light show. But anyways, them guys, they know what they're doing. I'm just yeah. I'd be dangerous if I could rent some of this heavy equipment that I see some of these dealerships have, and I'm just like, I need a skid steer at the bare minimum. I need a skid steer with a little drum mulcher, because I'd be a dangerous woman. I could figure out how to drive the little skid steer. I got experience. I got a little zero turn lawnmower, and I can handle the anyway, whatever. I'm getting off topic here. But yeah, but if your body doesn't have to break down the carbs, or so many carbs, it can get to burning the protein and burning the fat a little bit quicker. And eventually, I don't have like any studies or anything I can link in this video to kind of like show you, but my theory is if you can lower your carbs and run on higher protein and burn more fat, you really shouldn't have to worry about counting calories or watching your sugars as much, because your body, you're going to start shrinking, because you're essentially, if you're not hungry for longer periods of time, your calorie intake should decrease anyways. And anyways, it is amazing how that equipment just cuts some trees, grabs it, and then just lays it down. Like, that is some serious. The guy that figured out hydraulics too, I don't know his name, but my boyfriend was telling me about him here the other day, and that was an accidental discovery. And yeah, hydraulics is like, that is the best thing for machinery ever, you know. It's a wonderful thing. But I'm amazed. I'm just distracted here by this logging equipment. This dude, or gal, whatever. It's probably a dude. He's just grabbing a whole tree and just for every tree down. I don't know how many rolls of toilet paper that is, but it is important. And sheets of paper to write on. Support. We need it. Trees and toilet paper, they go hand in hand. There is a keto friendly, meaning aka low carb, tortilla wraps. So if you like burritos and you're just like, in order for me to be able to stay on this keto diet, I'm just gonna make a burrito at home, or I'm gonna make a burrito in the truck, like whatever, which is what I'm gonna try to do next week. I went ahead and bought the shredded like pieces of chicken and a little cute little plastic tub, probably came from China, but whatever. And I'm gonna try to make burritos essentially here in the truck. And yeah, I'm freaking excited about it, because the loaves of keto bread that I've had, they are just, I don't know what they did to it, but it doesn't taste quite as good as like your regular loaves of bread. Bread, if you're not careful, the carbs is per a slice. Just look at the serving size on the loaves of bread, you'll see it. And just think to yourself, this is Saul. Just think to yourself, 2 slices of bread to make a sandwich. I know the loaf of bread I have this week because I forgot to order it online, and I didn't feel like going to the other grocery store and looking for it, because for some reason they don't have a lot of cashiers, and I'm anti self-checkout, because I feel like if I'm having to shop the store and bag my own stuff and wait on you for every 3rd or 4th item to come through, and it used to be really bad in self-checkout for you to have another human who actually works there to come scan their ID or swipe their little card and unglitch the self-checkout. Then you might as well just put a human being behind a cash register to that works there to just cash me out. I hate self-checkout. That is like a little pet peeve I have. I know some people are like, oh, if I have like 1 or 2 items, I just do self-checkout. My thing is like, at the end of the day, you can only cut so many corners, and I'm all for people having a job, and I'm not for equipment taking jobs. And there's people out there who need jobs all the time. Oh, jeez. I thought that was going the other direction. Okay. It's not every day big trees start falling. That and train tracks. Watch out for all of that crap. But yeah, I just, it's just a little personal pet peeve. And the other thing is too, like I have seen people, whether it's the first of the month or they just in general just their grocery shopping, they have a full bucket. There's never enough space to put, like, not all the self-checkouts have a conveyor belt that you can like put your stuff on, and then if they have the conveyor belt, there's never enough room on the bagging side of it, because it used to be like when they first came out, if you take a bag off or you didn't put an item on the little bagging scale thing over there quick enough, or moved it off the thing too fast, it would set it off. And it's just like, you're making my shopping experience frustrating. And it wasn't frustrating before. So many carbs. But yeah, that would explain why I'm sitting out here, I'm exercising, I'm eating fruits and vegetables and all this kind of stuff. You have to, and I'm eating junk food, I'll admit it, the candy bar, M&Ms with the peanuts and the chocolate covered, or the caramel filled M&Ms. But anyways, what I was trying to say earlier is the fact that since I've been on this keto thing and really gotten strict about cutting out all the really bad stuff, my skin doesn't seem to be breaking out as much in acne and all of that, and it's nice. It's really nice. Now it hasn't completely eliminated my acne, obviously, because I mean, you work with grease, dirt, grime. I mean, you're as a woman, you know, you're gonna get blackheads, you're gonna get pimples. It just comes with the job, you know. Now, if you have the luxury of being able to go and shower every day, now you don't have it as bad. But yes, it is. That's yeah. That it's. But anyway, but my skin though, it's been a lot. And two, I've been incorporating the witch hazel stuff, oil, and then there's like a toner that where they take, I guess, the oil and then they diluted it with some type of alcohol, and it made it thinner, and so that it doesn't make my skin on my face like greasy, because I don't necessarily like walking around some of these plants and they've got literally pixie dust just floating through the air. I mean, you can see, you really should be wearing a mask or something, because you're going to sneeze. That stuff will stick to your face, and I hate that. So I've had to be a little careful and mindful when I, you know, clean and exfoliate my skin on my face and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. The other thing too that I've been doing is I've got a little tiny little oil diffuser here in the truck, and it's so nice to smell the peony oil, the geranium, the lavender. Like, I'll change it up, different scents and stuff, you know. And I'm that hippy dippy person, okay? Like, I'm not into the I have my limits, but anyways, I like the essential oils. They smell so good. They're really good. And the last thing, I've been taking rosemary leaves, because my boyfriend's grandmama was really, really nice and gave me an abundance of rosemary cuttings and starts, and I was just like, oh. Some of them died, and then some of them made it, and I'm happy about it, because I've been able to make like essentially rosemary tea. And for those who are like having issues, not that I'm having these issues, but if you're somebody who's having issues with like your hair thinning, like maybe on your hairline, maybe it's receding, or just you've got dandruff, or you've got just, I don't know, you just, maybe your hair is just doesn't have the shine that it used to have, you know, not greasy, but just doesn't look as good as it used to. So far, and I've been washing my hair with the rosemary tea, I'll get like one of those little condiment little bottles and just bzzz, you know. It's not like regular shampoo and conditioner, but it's made my hair, every time I see a tree fall, it's made my hair feel cleaner. And as long as I don't wash my hair in hot water for too long, my hair doesn't come out greasy. The hot water just, it like overstimulates the oil glands or something on my scalp. So anyways, but my hair, I feel like it feels healthier, and I don't feel like my hair is trying to like break off. And I don't have as much coming out with my hair comb. So there's something in the shampoos. I was onto this here a few years ago, and I switched over from the liquid shampoos to the bars, and that has made a world of difference. So if I'm in a bind and I can't get the essential oils, you know, tea version, then I just use the bar soap, like for the shampoo bars of soap. And I've got one that's got like lavender infused, or lavender and honey or something. Anyways, I don't do the conditioners, and I don't do the liquid shampoo stuff anymore. One, the bars are lighter. They come in a little, like a saucer or coaster size, and that lasts me the equivalent of like 2 or 3 months, and it's so much cheaper than buying, and it's so much lighter too than carrying around the liquid shampoos and conditioners and all that kind of, even if you get the travel size ones. Like, it's a hassle. You gotta worry about it leaking in your bag or falling over, you know, and just whatever. With the bars, you don't have that problem. So if you don't want to do the hippy dippy little, or you just don't have the rosemary leaves, to make like your own tea, basically all I do is I cook the leaves in a pot. And I do this at home because the crock pot, that's for me making and cooking and heating food. But anyways, at home, what I'll do is I'll heat up the leaves, and then I'll let it sit and cool, and then I'll put it into little plastic bottles, and that's my shampoo. But anyways, and I've managed to also break my my headset, my new headset. And so, like a resourceful American that I am, I took some Gorilla Glue and glued this piece back into the main bracket here, and then the little plastic coating that it came with, it ain't. So I gotta be a little bit careful about that. I'm so sad because this headset is not as, it hasn't lasted as good as my old trusty Blue Parrot over here. Okay, my Blue Parrot, it's had some better days. I've got a new ear cover piece here a couple of years back now, and I keep throwing the losing the little mic cover thing there. So, but I've had this one. This is my very first headset that I've ever bought, and I got this back when I first started trucking like 11 years ago. And it's just, I mean, it's the Blue Parrot B250 XT. That's a good dang headset right there. I was being cheap, and I got this one here from Walmart. It was like $40, and that one back in the day, I think I was paid like $60 for it. Lasted me 11 years, but the $40 one it ain't even lasted a year, I don't think, and I done broke it. So anyways, I'm a little bit upset about it. You get what you pay for. So next week I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. Not really sure what I'm going to be filming, and we will figure that out as soon as my battery here charges. So anyways, alright guys, that's it for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next vlog. Mwah!